All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack a startling paradox hiding in plain sight. When you hear Meghalaya, you probably picture exactly what it translates to, the abode of clouds. You think of breathtaking mountains, insane waterfalls, and endless green forests, right? It's literally the poster child for clean, pristine nature in India. But hidden inside this postcard-perfect state is a spot where a thick, heavy layer of industrial soot has literally swallowed the landscape. So, how on earth did a tiny village in India's greenest state turn into the most toxic city on the planet? We're going to break down the massive system failures that cooked up this dystopian nightmare. Because, we're not talking about Beijing or Delhi here. We're talking about Barneyhat, a small, unassuming industrial town of just about 70,000 people. Yet somehow this tiny dot on the map was crowned the world's most polluted metropolitan area in 2024. How does a place wrapped in nature's best defenses just succumb to toxic smog?
The contrast here is honestly mind-boggling. On one hand, you have Meghalaya, with a massive 76% of its land covered in dense, lush forest. It's home to spots like Cherrapunji and Masanram, which literally get the highest rainfall in the world. And you'd think all that rain and forest would naturally scrub the air clean, right? Well, Barneyhat completely defies that natural advantage. Instead of fresh air, it's posting astronomical pollution numbers, and the local vegetation is just coated in this inescapable layer of black soot. And that brings us to this number, 128.2. Now, that's not just some abstract metric. That represents immediate daily human suffering. 128.2 micrograms per cubic meter was Barneyhat's annual average PM 2.5 concentration in 2024. To put that into perspective, the World Health Organization says the safe limit is 5. 5. That means Barneyhat is operating at over 25 times the safe limit. It even blew past Delhi, which hit 108.3, and we all know Delhi is globally infamous for its winter smog. But for Barneyhat, this isn't a bad winter week. It's an everyday crisis. So, what does this actually mean for the people living there? Well, it translates into a devastating 76% health crisis. We're stepping away from the hazy drone footage for a second because the core of this explainer is a catastrophic public health emergency. This toxic smog is absolutely ravaging the local Garo and Khasi communities. It's a health crisis that has completely taken root in the population. Just look at the reality on the ground. Government data reveals a staggering 76% surge in respiratory illnesses in just 2 short years. In 2022, cases were at 2,082. By 2024, they skyrocketed to 3,681. And the reason is terrifyingly simple. These microscopic PM 2.5 particles from coal, cement dust, and industrial soot, they easily bypass your body's natural defenses and embed themselves deep into lung tissue. It causes severe, chronic inflammation. You literally have kids coming home from school, playing in toxic dust, and getting locked into this relentless cycle of severe coughs, asthma, and fevers. And tragically, it goes way beyond asthma. Medical experts on the ground, like Dr. Brahma, confirm a horrifying trend. This extreme air pollution is directly linked to a massive spike in head and neck cancers. When journalists actually go to Barneyhat and talk to the locals, the conversations are heartbreaking. People talk about cancer and fatal breathing issues with this disturbing normalcy. They point to their throats, telling stories about loved ones developing tumors and passing away. It's become a completely casual, tragic reality for them. You really have to put yourself in their shoes for a second. Imagine living in a once pristine tribal village, right? But now, families are literally scrubbing soot off their daily food just to survive. Locals here traditionally grow their own crops, but the pollution is so thick it physically settles on the leaves. They have to wash their homegrown veggies 3, maybe 4 times, and then manually wipe them down with a cloth just to get the black grime off. And the houses? Even with doors and windows slammed shut, the dust finds a way in. There's literally zero escape from it. Which brings us to the obvious question. What exactly is choking out the clouds and driving this massive 76% spike in respiratory diseases? To really understand how this happened, we need to do a bit of an autopsy on the crisis. How does a quiet village, known for its unique matriarchal society and traditional bamboo structures, morph into a polluted wasteland that echoes 24/7 with the buzz of heavy machinery? Well, it's basically the perfect storm of bad geography and human negligence. First, you've got over 80 heavy industries packed into the area, producing iron, steel, cement, and liquor, many operating with zero proper pollution controls.
Then add National Highway 6 cutting right through, bringing a constant, heavy stream of commercial trucks spewing diesel exhaust and kicking up road dust. Now, take all that pollution and put it inside a bowl-shaped valley that traps the bad air so it literally can't escape. Oh, and top it off with below normal rainfall last year, meaning there wasn't even enough rain to wash the particulate matter away. But honestly, here is the most mind-bending twist in this whole story. It's the ultimate green energy irony, when a supposed environmental solution actually creates a local dystopia. Documentary crews investigating the area found something incredibly contradictory, being manufactured right in the dead center of this toxic cloud.
Yep, we're talking about ethanol. This is the stuff championed globally as a green, emission-reducing additive. The goal is to blend 20% ethanol into petrol to help shift the whole country toward a cleaner, more eco-friendly grid. Sounds great, right? Well, the bitter irony is that the massive ethanol production plants located in Barnihat are actually one of the primary sources of the suffocating black smoke that's driving up all those local illness rates.
It is a profound, almost tragic irony. As the host of Sarthak Documentaries pointed out, you can't exactly go around boasting to the world about cleaning the environment with green fuel when the actual manufacturing of that fuel is devastating a local community. Going green on paper is, quite literally, choking the residents of Barnihat in real life. It makes you really question the hidden costs of these national sustainability goals. Okay, so if the pollution is this bad and the 76% spike in disease is public record, why isn't anyone hitting the brakes on this? Well, let's dive into the bureaucratic loophole that lets these 80-plus factories operate with such wild impunity. The real culprit here isn't just the machinery, it's geography. Or more specifically, a highly convenient imaginary line drawn on a map. See, Barnihat sits right on the border between the states of Assam and Meghalaya, which creates an absolute regulatory tug-of-war. Geographically, the town is in Meghalaya, but economically, it acts as the industrial engine for Guwahati, which is Assam's biggest city. So you have factories serving Assam's economy, but they're sitting on Meghalaya's land. And while the toxic smoke easily drifts back and forth across the state border, legal accountability, yeah, that gets completely stuck in the mud. State authorities just keep pointing fingers at each other, and while fertilizer smoke is glowing overhead, they just keep flailing out of the Mets. And because of this massive jurisdictional mess, the factories exploit the system with zero hesitation. Locals have reported that factories are quietly laying underwater pipes into the river, dumping toxic waste under the cover of darkness. It's killing the fish, it's ruining the bathing water. Sure, the chief ministers of both states have formed joint committees and done a few inspections, but what happens? A temporary fine, maybe a brief shutdown, and then it's right back to business as usual. There is absolutely no concrete, long-term enforcement happening here. So as we talk about massive industrial growth and going green, we really have to leave you with this question: what is actual progress? Because true progress definitely shouldn't come at the cost of destroying the air, the health, and the very lives of everyday people. A 76% surge in respiratory disease is not progress. We have to ask ourselves, are we actually building sustainable development, or are we just sweeping the environmental damage into small rural towns that are totally off the media's radar? I mean, is a rising GDP really worth it if the people building it can no longer even breathe the air? Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and remember to always question the true human cost behind the numbers we see on paper.